Hey, how is it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward here with the live video Q&A for the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel. And the way that these video chats work is I'm going to be hanging out here for the next hour, answering any questions and topics of discussion that you would like to cover with regards to building muscle, losing fat, getting yourself back in shape, and basically becoming the best version of yourself in 2020. Now, I kind of gear my content these days towards men over 40 because, hey, I'm a man over 40 and I can relate to those struggles. But a lot of this stuff applies to people of all ages, whether you're older, in your 50s, 60s, and beyond, or even if you're a young guy in your teens and your 20s and 30s. The same basic principles apply, but you really need to kind of just adjust it according to your own situation, your own recovery, and of course, your own goals, lifestyle, and all that kind of stuff. So, before we get into it, I just want to first off, I want to make sure that this is actually coming through loud and clear, that you can hear me, that you can see me. So if you can do that, let me know. Just type into the chat that, yes, I can hear you, yes, I can see you, loud and clear, something like that. And also let me know if you're brand new. Like if you're just tuning in for the first time, you've never ever tuned into one of these video chats before, let me know in the comments section by typing in the letter N. If you're new, if you're a newbie, brand new to the Total Fitness Bodybuilding video chat, type that in there. If you're a regular, you always tune into these chats. You've been doing so week after week, month after month, year after year, or at least several times. Type in the letter R into the video chat below. Let me know that you're a regular. All right, I'm going to get myself settled away here now. I need to get myself a bottle of water. I'm all out of water. I got a coffee. I have a coffee instead. So right now, I'm actually in Florida. I'm in Clearwater, Florida, staying at a little Airbnb on a working vacation, right? Escaping the cold Canadian winter at the moment. Let me turn on some lights here. So there we go. Got a bit of light. At an Airbnb here. There we go. Got some lights. Oh, my beautiful wife gave me a bottle of water. We are ready to rock and roll. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, I'm down here now doing some collaborations with some friends of mine in the fitness industry. If you've been following along with the channel, you've seen some of the videos that I've been posting. I did several videos over at Critical Bench, and next week we've got some special stuff planned. Going to be shooting some unique content over there. We even got a podcast interview scheduled as well. So if you haven't already done so, head back to my previous videos that I've been posting over the past week or so, and you can see some of those. And let me get this set up now. Here we go. I don't have my proper setup, so I'm kind of making do. All right, I think that's pretty cool. I think that looks pretty darn good. All right, so who do we got tuning in? How do we got tuning in today? We have Dan joining us. We have Adam is joining. We have Rani is joining in. Dan saying it's coming through loud and clear. Do appreciate it. We have Bill, who's brand new to the video chat. Welcome, Bill. Glad to have you joining the Total Fitness Bodybuilding family. It's almost like a family. I mean, we get to hang out here every Friday afternoon. Who else we have? Jason is joining in. Jason's brand new. Welcome, guys. Nice to have you tuning in. Let's see. Dez, or Deez, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Deez Tanks or Dez Tanks. Saying, what's up, Lee? I've been watching you for a while. I'm 33 years old, trying to lift to 405 on the bench. Currently, I'm at 315. What do you recommend to get to 405? Whoa, okay. All right, first off, not everybody is going to be able to bench 405. Like, let's just be totally honest. Like, that is a huge number for the average person. Back in my best, all-time strongest, when I was competing in powerlifting, I benched 445 pounds. It was my most ever bench press, and I did that in 2005. I would not be able to do that now. I would not be able to get close to that now. I've had so many injuries over the years, and like my joints, tendons, and ligaments just would not be able to support that kind of weight anymore. So that's a big goal, right? I know, like, you see elite level powerlifters and stuff like that and pushing those kind of numbers, but for the average guy, the average person you see in the gym, like, they're never going to bench 405. Like, let's just be honest, right? I mean, that's like elite level lifting for most people, especially when you're talking about like a raw bench. Now, if it's an equipped powerlifting shirt bench, more people are going to be able to do it, but still, even then, that's an impressive lift. What I would focus on in your situation is just small, gradual progression. Like, don't think of how do I go from 315 to 405. Think about how do you go from 315 to 320. And then once you get to 320, how do I go from 320 to 325? You just make 5-pound jumps. That's how I did it. Back when I was training in powerlifting, I never made more than a 5-pound PR per workout. Like whatever, if I was going for a new 1 rep max, I would try to lift 5 pounds more than my previous 1 rep max. And you just do that over and over and over again until you build yourself up to that weight. It can be a slow process. And the thing is, you want it to be a slow process because you're less likely to get injured if you take it slow and you're more progressive. If you try and go too much too soon, like I see this mistake all the time. Like guys, let's just throw out some numbers. Let's say, okay, someone can bench 225, 2 plates aside. And they say, well, that felt easy. Like, let's try for 250, right? Or let's try for 275 or something like they just make these big, massive jumps in weight when they shouldn't even be attempting that. Like that is just an injury waiting to happen. You're much better off to make those small, steady jumps in weight. So no more than 5 pounds PR at a time. And if you're over in Europe or you're in somewhere else where you don't use pounds, then go by the kilos, then no more than like 2 kilo PR at a time. Don't try to make big jumps. Because when I talk about, I say, okay, try and make 5 pounds. A lot of guys who I'm talking to, like over in Europe or in Australia or New Zealand or different places where they use kilos instead of pounds, they think, okay, 5 pounds equals 5 kilos. No! 5 kilos is more than double 5 pounds, right? 5 kilos is actually 11 pounds. So if you're going to try and work in kilos, 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos max per when you're trying to increase the weights. Don't do any more than that. Small, slow, steady jumps because it's safe and you're less likely to get injured. So that's how you build yourself up. And that applies to any lift, not just the bench press, but any lift that you're working on. Let's see what else we got here. We have Lee tuning in. We have Ranny's tuning in. Who else is tuning in? I guess some of this, I'm going to have, like, the way I'm on my phone, and the font size on my phone is super duper small. Like, normally when I'm at home, I do these video chats on my desktop computer, and I got this nice big screen, so it's easier to see the video chat. Here it's this little tiny, minuscule font on my phone that I'm reading here. Who else? Graz Maiden joining in. Pro Reactor. Abram. What else? Abram's asking, what's up, Lee? Finally, the notification bell actually worked. Cha-ching! He hit the notification bell and he got notified when I made a video. When I posted a live video. Good for you. It's nice when things actually work for a change. Sometimes they don't. Dez is saying he downloaded the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. Good for you, my friend. There's a lot of value in that. If you have not already done so, and you're brand new to these video chats, go over and check out the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. You can get a direct link to it right on my website at leehayward.com. If you're going to be catching the replay of this afterwards, I'll post a link to the app download in the video description afterwards when I post the replay. But the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app is kind of like your one-stop shop to get the most value to start moving you in the right direction towards reaching your muscle building and fat loss goals. And when I developed that app, my goal was, how can I take the best of all the stuff that I've learned over the past, 30 years that I've been in the iron game? Because I started training in 1990. And here we are, 2020. So I've been at this for 30 years. That's a long time to be doing anything. So I said, like, how can I take that 30 years and condense it down into, like, the basics? That, like, if somebody's brand new and say, like, where do I start? Start with the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. Because in there's beginner workouts, there's intermediate workouts, there's advanced workouts, there's an exercise database in there. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's nutrition strategies for building muscle, losing fat, sample recipes that you can follow along with. There's a lot of different content there, information about how to track your nutrition, track your calories, and stuff like that. There's also a section there where if you have any questions, you can reach out and ask me questions directly through the app. So it's kind of like your one-stop shop. You can get it through Android as well as the Apple iTunes, so Android or Apple devices. And it's $2. It's like the best $2 you'll ever spend. And the reason why I have to charge $2 is because it costs me money to produce and host the app. So that little $2, like I'm not getting rich on that. Like I'm not retiring and moving to the Caymans now and living on high life on a $2 app. I can guarantee you that. But it allows me to cover my expenses and produce that app so that you can actually go out there and use it. So if you got $2 just burning a hole in your pocket and you want to get the best value of it, hey, download the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. I guarantee it'll be $2 well spent. But again, thanks for that, Des. He said he just downloaded it. So, yeah, man, go through it. If you have any questions or whatever, feel free to reach out to me through the app. Pro Reactor says he's been following the Carnivore Diet for a month. Ooh, okay, that's kind of a controversial one, right? The vegans are not going to like you for that one. Personally, I'm not a fan of the extreme diets. I'm not a fan of cutting out food groups. Now, that's just me. I mean, if you follow the carnivore diet and it's working for you, you're getting the results you want, hey, more power to you. I'm not here to tell you to don't do it, but I like a well-balanced approach. I'm not a fan of cutting up food groups. I like to have 1/3 of my calories from protein, 1/3 from carbohydrates, and 1/3 from fat. And that's not just numbers I've plucked from air. That's numbers that I've found through years of trial and error because I've went through different diets. I've went keto, which is not technically carnivore, but it's similar. You know, keto, extremely low carb, did not work well for me. I've tried very high carb diets, did not work really well for me. I've even tried low protein diets. You know, I did the whole vegan thing back in 2014. My wife and I, we went vegan for 6 months because, you know, all the vegan documentaries on Netflix and stuff like that. I said, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot because I'm open-minded. I said, I'll try it and see how it works. And I really committed to it for 6 months, and that didn't work. I ended up losing weight and getting fat. So I was actually losing muscle while gaining body fat when I went vegan. I find that well-balanced approach, 1/3 protein, 1/3 carbs, 1/3 fat, as simple as it is, it actually works. Like when everything's in balance, you don't suffer from nutritional deficiencies. You don't suffer the ups and downs of mood swings or cravings or anything like that. You just feel good and your body functions optimally. Like well balanced, like everything in moderation. Like it's so simple, but sometimes simple and common sense isn't that common, if you know what I mean. But I find that when you just keep it simple and try not to overcomplicate it, it usually works the best. So my personal opinion, I'm not a fan of the carnivore diet. I have no intentions of following it, but hey, go for it. Give it a shot for yourself and see how it feels. Let's see what we got here. Steve is joining in. Someone's asking Bada, I think it is, thoughts about the earthquake. I haven't been watching the news. I don't know about the earthquake. That's one thing I'm going to talk about, just the news, if you will. Like, I do not watch the news because it's all bad news. Like, if you turn on the TV and you watch the news station, they're not talking about good news. It's all tragedy and you know, the world is going to shit and everything else. Like, it's all tragedy and doom and gloom. So I don't want to be filling my mind with that negativity. If something is newsworthy, someone will tell me about it, right? Like if it's truly newsworthy, I will hear about it eventually through the jigs and the reels and through just word on the street, if you will. So I don't know what earthquake you're talking about because I haven't been watching the news. Okay, what else we got? Alaska Fisherman is joining in. That'd be a cool vacation to go on. I'd love to go on an Alaskan fishing trip, but he's asking what's son to go, and I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. We got Steve tuning in from Alberta. He says, hopefully you see this. And I did see it, Steve. Where to in Alberta, my friend? I've been to Alberta a few times. Tell you one place that I really loved. Been there several years back. We went to Jasper in Alberta, and we went there in the summertime. And we went we rented mountain bikes while we were there and went on some amazing bike trails through the mountains in Jasper. Absolutely amazing trip. My wife and I did it. Loved it up there. Absolutely beautiful scenery up there in the mountains. Hey Harvey, how are you, buddy? If I know you can hear this. My son Harvey is. No, there he is. Hi Harvey. Oh, he got a. There's like pollen in the air or whatever, and it's kind of like aggravating his throat a little bit because it's wintertime in Florida, but still it's kind of like springtime in Canada, so the trees are kind of like pollinating and stuff, so it kind of irritates his throat a little bit. So poor little bugger got a bit of a hack and a bit of a cough, but he's doing cool. Who else we got tuning in there? We have Graz Maiden says, my name is Dutch. Okay, well, I'm probably butchering your name, but it's nice to have you tuning in. Steve is joining in, says, I've been going through your recipe videos. I tried your quick wrap snack attack. Think that's what it was called, and it was awesome. Good, glad you enjoyed it. That's something I'm going to be making more of. I have to be honest, I haven't made a whole lot of new recipe and meal-related videos lately, but that is something that I definitely want to get more into. And I'll be honest, a lot of the times why I haven't been making as many meal recipe videos is it's kind of hard to man the camera when you have a little toddler running around. As you can tell, like even I'm trying to do these videos, he's kind of coming into the video. There's no more peace and quiet anymore. But you know what? What the heck? I'm going to do the videos, and if Harvey runs through the video and makes noise in the video, who cares, right? It's real life. It's going to be like reality TV, if you will. But that's something I want to get into doing more of, because I get a lot of requests for meal ideas, and specifically meal ideas on how you can make eating a healthy diet easier, more convenient, and satisfy those cravings without getting fat in the process. And that's something that I definitely would like to share, because I've come up with some really good strategies that have been working for me, strategies that have allowed me to get lean and stay lean without feeling like I'm depriving myself on some crazy restrictive diet. And that's the key. If you can follow along with a meal plan that you enjoy, that fuels the muscle, burns body fat, and satisfies your appetite, and gives you the energy, makes you feel healthy, I mean, you can stick with it for the rest of your life. One of the problems with a lot of the different diets out there is they're all quick fix solutions. I mean, yeah, you can go on some crazy extreme cutting diet, for example. Like, let's say your goal is to lose fat, and I say, okay, I want you to cut out all carbohydrates, eat nothing but chicken and broccoli, do 2 hours a day of cardio in the gym. Yeah, you'd get shredded, no doubt about it. I guarantee you, if you had the willpower and the determination to do that, you would get absolutely shredded. But your life would be a living hell. You would hate what you're doing, right? Because it's not sustainable, it's not enjoyable, it's not satisfying your cravings or allowing you to enjoy yourself. So it's anything that you can't sustain and that you don't enjoy, it's only short term. It's only a matter of time before you follow something like that, and then you're going to give in to the cravings, you're going to binge, blow the diet, and gain the weight back again. So whatever dietary approach you follow, it has to be enjoyable and it has to be maintainable. If it's not, then it's only a short-term quick fix. And that's why we see so many people go on a diet, lose a bunch of weight, and then 6 months later you see them and they've gained all the weight back and sometimes even more, right? I mean, how stupid is that, right? Go on some crazy cutting diet, lose 30 pounds. 6 months later, you gain 35 back. Like, you would have been better off not going on a diet at all. Just stay the same, right? At least you wouldn't have the stress and going through all that, yo-yo weight gain and loss. And man, you have to make this a realistic lifestyle approach if you want it to last. And I've really nailed down a good system for that. And again, I'll be sharing more of that in future videos coming soon. All right, what else we got here? Southern NH Drums saying, Lee, how intense should my workouts be in the gym? Should I go to failure every set? Heck no, you shouldn't go to failure every set. That is stupid. I'm going to tell you why. You have to warm up. A warm-up set should never be to failure. Warm-up sets should be easy. They should be warm-up sets. So no, you should not go to failure on every set. You should in fact, you probably don't need to go to failure on a lot of sets. Like, the only time I will go to failure is on my final, maybe like the last set or two of an exercise. And even then, it may not even be true failure. Like in my case, if I'm doing a barbell exercise, like a bench press or a squat or an overhead press, something like that, deadlifts, I'm not training to failure. I'm leaving a rep or two in the tank. And the reason is because it's safer. The risk to reward ratio of pushing yourself to failure, it doesn't always work in your favor because you can easily get injured. And if you get injured, that's going to slow your progress down way more than any potential gain that you would have gotten by grinding out that extra rep. I mean, just look at the bigger picture. When it comes to your workouts, if you stop a set short of failure, that's not going to hinder your progress. If you skip a workout, that's not going to hinder your progress in the greater scheme of things, as long as you get back on track the next day. If you cheat on your diet, like that's really not going to hinder your progress that much, because I mean you can always get back on track. But if you get injured, right, you blow out a rotator cuff, you tear a pec, you whatever, you tear a muscle, you get injured, that is definitely going to hinder your progress. That could set you back days, weeks, months, and in some cases you may never fully recover from that injury. So I'm a big advocate of injury prevention, and that's why I don't push myself to failure on every set or every exercise for that matter. The only time I push myself to failure is when it's safe to do so. And when it's safe to do so is like isolation exercises, machine exercises, things where you're not going to put yourself in danger. So like I'm probably not going to rep out to failure on a barbell bench press, especially if I'm by myself and I don't have a spotter. I mean, that's just stupid. But I might rep out to failure on like a hammer strength incline bench press or some sort of chest press machine where it's safe to rep out to failure. And if I push myself and I can't lift the weight, big deal. I'm using a machine and it's not really going to hinder my progress.
What are you doing?
I'm doing a video chat. And I know you're making a lot of noise in the background, but those of you who have kids, you know exactly what I'm going through right now. So say hello to everybody. Say hello, everybody on the internet. Can you say hi?
Hi to the video.
Hi to the video. Yeah. Are you making faces? What are you doing sticking your tongue out? What are you doing sticking your tongue out? The people on the internet don't want to see you sticking your tongue out. What are you doing? Are you making a face? Give that up. What are you doing? Here. Do you want to go out in the backyard with Mommy? You want to go out
Do you want to come to that?
I do want to go out in the backyard, but I got to do my video first. And once I'm finished the video in about a half an hour, I'll come out in the backyard. Yes, Daddy got to do his video. And I'll come out in about a half an hour. Can you wait a half an hour? All right. He's going to wait a half an hour, and then we're going to go out in the backyard and play. So we got a very important day ahead of us, playing in the backyard. We got water guns. We actually bought a 6-pack of water guns, so we're going to go out and have a water gun fight. How cool is that, right? I don't know what the heck I was talking about. Injury prevention, that's what it was. So the question was, should you go to failure on every set? Heck no. You want to save failure for when it's safe to do so, and so you don't get injured. Moving on. Abram is asking, when I work out extremely hard, I feel like there is water in my ear. Has that ever happened to you? Nope, can't say it has. I would be cautious on that, and if it's something that persists, go get it checked out. When in doubt, get it checked out. That's not normal. You shouldn't feel like you have water in your ear unless you were swimming or something like that, which you actually did get water in your ear, but that's not normal. Right? If that's something that's persisting, I'd go talk to your doctor about that. Okay, someone else, Steve, saying he's following Carnivore Diet as well, and says he's feeling great with energy. Hey, go for it. I mean, if it works for you, who am I to knock it, right? Like, I'm just saying what works for me, but like everybody has their own personal preferences. Like, I've known people who followed the Carnivore Diet and they say they like it, but again, I like well-balanced, and I feel fantastic when I have a well-balanced diet with protein and vegetables and carbohydrates in moderation. I find that it just works best, feels good, and I find I make my best gains and progress. You're not out in the backyard. Do you want to answer a question? Here, let me give you a question to answer. You can answer the next question, Harvey. The next question is from... Hang on, Harvey. I can't see the... All right. All right. The next question here is from... The next question is from Amjed. And he says, I've been working out for a year, but whenever I do chest press or bench press, my chest gets fatigued or gives me Harvey, cover your mouth. I've been working out for a year now. Whenever I do chest, it fell off. Did it? Okay. I've been working out for a year now, but whenever I do chest press or bench press, my chest gets fatigued or gives in after 2 sets of 10 reps. Is it because of more muscle endurance or because of poor ATP? It's because you're working your chest and you're getting tired. That's why. Why is his chest getting fatigued, Harvey? Here. Do you want to go out in the backyard? Don't cough on the phone. Do you want to go out in the backyard? Hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't cough on the phone. Here.
Can you fix my...
Mommy will fix it. Here.
Mommy?
Yes, Mommy will fix it. Okay. Sorry, guys. Your chest gets fatigued after 2 sets. It's because you're pushing yourself too hard. You're going too hard on those sets. Like, you should be doing a warm-up set. And again, warm-up sets should be... You should be doing a warm-up set. All right. I'm gonna go in the room here. All right. Or I'll go out in the backyard if Harvey wants to stay in. Here, guys. There. Trying to open this. I can't even open the door here. You're getting the raw, real deal. This is why I sometimes don't make as many videos as I'd like to, is because I find it challenging. I can't even open the back door here. Hang on, Harvey. I gotta go out the other door. Or I'll just stay in here. That's all. There we go. All right. I'll do my video chat here instead. Come in the room. All right. Where were we to? I've been working out for a year, but whenever I do chest press or bench press, my chest gets fatigued or gives in after 2 sets. It's because you're training too heavy. You're pushing yourself too hard for those sets. You need to train lighter and start off with warm-up sets. Again, you're pushing yourself to failure or close to it on those 2 sets. That's why. Start off light and let your work capacity build up gradually. What's the name of the app? It's the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app. If you can't find it through the app store, you can actually go to my website at LeeHayward.com, and there's a direct link to it right on the top of the website there. It's right in the top corner of the page, LeeHayward.com. Or there's a direct link. You can just type in LeeHayward.com/app, APP, and it'll bring you a direct link to it as well. Again, you can download for Android or Apple devices. Let's see. Okay, someone's talking about this earthquake again. An earthquake bar. I never heard of an earthquake bar. Saying it's not an earthquake. Sorry about that. But again, I've never heard of an earthquake bar, so I can't comment on that either. What else we got? Alaska Fisherman says, carbs help me feel more energized and not so sluggish or feeling like I'm starving myself. I totally agree. I'm not a carbophobe. I like to have carbs in moderation. But that's the key, moderation. You don't need to go overboard with it. I'm not an advocate of consuming hundreds of excess carbs because that just goes to excess body fat. But in moderation, 1/3 protein, 1/3 carbs, 1/3 fat, it works good. Steve is saying, tell Harvey I said hi. I will. I'll let him know. Jay's asking, how long are you in Florida for? We're here for another 2 weeks. I'm like I say, got some more collaborations and video projects planned over the next couple weeks. And I know that time is going to fly, but I'm enjoying it while I'm here. Young Ballin Click 559. What is the benefit of taking protein and glutamine? I know it helps with soreness and helps keep going, but are there any other qualities? Protein is the raw material for muscle tissue and basically all bodily tissue. Like protein is the building blocks for your entire body. Glutamine is an amino acid. It's a part of protein. I mean, it's technically a non-essential amino acid, meaning the body can manufacture and produce it on its own, but it's still very critical for numerous functions. Like if that's kind of like nutrition 101. If you really need to, like, you don't know what protein does and you don't know what it, like, go on Google and just search like what is protein, benefits of protein, and you will get articles and videos and all kinds of stuff. But bottom line, protein is the raw material your body needs to build muscle. Woodulos is joining in from Scotland, and he's asking, how is the lat? I'm guessing from the pull-ups you did at critical bench that it's healed. I actually didn't do pull-ups. I did some other exercises, but basically, kind of recap, long story short, back in November, I actually tore my tricep slash lat tie-in area. All right, I did that in the gym. It was a stupid little injury, but thankfully it was only a muscle fiber tear. There was no tendon or ligament detachment or anything like that. It was just muscle fiber tear. It's healed up pretty good. I'm pretty much able to do a lot of the exercises that I normally do, but I'm still cautious of it. Like, I'm not pushing to the limits. I'm not doing body weight pull-ups yet. I'm using like the assisted pull-up machine, or I'm doing some light pull downs and things like that. But it's healing up quite nicely, thankfully. And again, it's because it wasn't a tendon or ligament tear. If you tear tendons or ligaments, like that's serious stuff. That can take a long time, or it may never fully recover. But when it's just muscle fiber tears, they usually heal up pretty good. I've had a few muscle fiber tear injuries over the years, and they, well, it's a piss off and it's annoyance. It's usually not a major injury. It heals up within the matter of, a few months. You could be back to normal again. We have John Doe joining in. He's asking, is decline bench press a good idea? I hear it's dangerous because it causes high blood pressure. I guess that's kind of an individual thing. I've never had an issue doing a decline bench press. I mean, yes, your head is lower than your body. So, I mean, yeah, blood will rush more to your head, if you will, compared to like an incline or a flat. But if you're healthy and everything else, it's not an issue. I mean, I know a lot of guys do decline bench press and find it's a great exercise. So yeah, I mean, it's really a try it and see how it works for you. If you can't do the decline bench press because of that, then there's some other alternatives as well. Like some gyms probably have the decline hammer strength bench press, which allows you to bench press on a decline angle, but your body is still physically upright because it's a chest press. So I mean, you're sitting down with your body in a seated position, but the angle that you're pressing is in that decline position. So it's decline for the pecs, but your head is still, in the upright position, if you will. So if you have access to something like that, like the decline hammer strength or a similar type of decline chest press, you could use that instead of the barbell. Okay. Adam's saying, do you have any tips to help with lat activation? Yeah, I certainly do. One, go lighter and slower and squeeze. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of guys make when they're training their back is they heave, they jerk, and they don't really squeeze with each repetition. Like when you're doing an exercise for your back, like let's just say a pull down, you want to go through a full range of motion. Feel your lats stretch when your arms are extended. As you pull your arms down, you want to feel your back contract. So really focus on that stretch and contraction with every single repetition. That is critical. Same with your rows. Like feel the stretch, feel the contraction. Slow down the tempo and really try and get that mind-muscle connection. I mean, you can even do it now, like while you're just sitting here watching this. Like, as you're doing an exercise, like pretend you're going through an exercise, like a row, for example, and squeeze and feel your back contract, right? And just like, pull your arm in, squeeze, feel it. And same with if you're going overhead, like pull down, squeeze. Like you should be able to feel your muscles contract even if you don't have any weight. Try and get that mind-muscle connection going, and then try and duplicate that when you're doing an exercise in the gym. If you can do that, then that will help with getting more activation. And the problem with the back is it's it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Like you can't see your back when you're training it. Whereas if you're training your torso, like your arms, your chest, or whatever, your legs, you can see it because it's in front of you. So you can see it in the mirror, like if you're doing bicep curls, you can actually see your biceps. If you're looking at your chest in the mirror, like if you're doing a chest press, or even if you're doing a bench press, like you can look down, you can see your chest. So you get that visual cue. The back, you can't see it, out of sight, out of mind. So you really have to pay attention to how it feels. And one of the best things you can do is slow down your cadence and really focus on squeezing and contracting the muscles with each repetition, and increase the weights slowly and gradually while still maintaining that tension. If you get to the point where you can't feel your back and you're just heaving and jerking the weights, then you've lost it. You've lost that mind muscle connection. So you want to kind of like stay within the limits of working the muscle, not just moving weight, right? That's one of the best things I can offer when it comes to back. Let's see. Skull Envy is saying, I don't feel hungry. I'm eating 1,000 calories a day. I'm doing intermittent fasting and I'm not losing weight. All right. First off, 1,000 calories a day and you're not losing weight and you're not feeling hungry. Like, how are you accurately tracking that 1,000 calories? Because most people, if you limited yourself to 1,000 calories, you would be starving. And unless you just started like 2 days ago or something, but if you've been following this for any length of time and you're only eating 1,000 calories a day and you're not hungry and not losing weight, you got problems. Like, that is not normal. And one thing that first off, I would like to see exactly what you're eating to say that it's only 1,000 calories, because a lot of people don't know how to accurately track calories and measure it and monitor it, and you may be overestimating things. Like I remember back when I was a friend of mine, back in my school days, he was complaining. He said, I can't lose weight. He says, I only eat one meal a day. And he says, I can never lose weight. Right? And I'm like, well, what are you eating for that meal? And then he started talking about that meal he was eating and everything else, and then complaining because he wasn't losing weight. And the next thing you know, we were walking down the hall. We were in school, right? This is back in the school days, back in college days. And we walked by the vending machine, and he stops to the vending machine, and he gets a bag of chips, and then he gets, a bottle of soda out of the vending machine. And he starts eating the chips and drinking the soda. And I said, what are you doing? And he said, what do you mean what am I doing? He said, I'm having a bag of chips and the soda. And I said, but you just told me that you only eat one meal a day. He said, but yeah, this isn't a meal. He said, it's only a bag of chips and a soda. Big deal. I'm like, man, everything you eat counts. Like, if you're not sitting at the table, it doesn't mean that the calories don't count. So, like, he was eating crap and drinking sugar drinks and all this all day long, but he didn't count it because he didn't think it mattered, because it wasn't an official meal, if you will. So when people say they're eating a certain amount of calories, like, okay, I'm eating 1,000 calories, like, are you really eating 1,000 calories? Like, let's look at every single thing that you eat, drink, and consume, everything that goes into your mouth in the run of a day. Like, if you're putting cream and sugar in your coffee, that's calories. If you're drinking a bottle of soda, that's calories, unless it's a diet and sugar-free soda. If you're drinking water, or not water, juice or milk, that's calories. Like, everything adds up. If you're sneaking a bite of food here and there, that's still calories, right? Like, everything adds up. So a lot of times when people say they're eating really low calories and not losing weight, it's usually they're not accurately tracking it. So I'd like to see you write down every single thing that you consume, accurately measure it out and see, because that's not normal. Put it that way. 1,000 calories. First off, nobody should be eating 1,000 calories a day. That's just way too low. But if you'd like some help with this, if you'd like to actually brainstorm and strategize a proper eating plan, send me an email, right? leeh@leehayward.com is my personal email address, and we can see if we can come up with a realistic action plan that works for you. We got Aaron tuning in. Aaron's a regular, and he's one of our VIP coaching student members. Welcome, Aaron. What else we got? Graz Maiden is saying, what I like best: take a shower in the morning, then go to the gym. No eating, nothing at all, only training. Okay, so you work out fasted. It's great that you get a shower too, because then you don't stink when you're at the gym. But that's fine. If you enjoy fasted workouts, that's fine. Like, everybody has their personal preference. I very often will do fasted workouts as well. Uh, if I am going to eat before a workout, I like to eat very light, like maybe like some protein shake, a piece of fruit, or something very small, or at least eat a meal several hours before I go to the gym. But if I'm going to do a morning workout, more often than not, I'm going to just maybe have like a cup of coffee, have some water, hydrate myself, and then go to the gym on an empty stomach and then eat afterwards. I don't like training with a lot of food in my belly. I find that it makes me sluggish and gassy and bloated. I feel better when I have very little food in my system. So that's fine, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that as long as you make up for it later in the day, right? It's not so much when you eat, it's what you eat and the amounts that you eat. So like the whole meal timing, I'm not saying that there's no time or place for it, but look at the big rocks. The biggest thing is what you're eating and how much you're eating. The timing of when you eat it, that's further down the line. Like that's secondary in importance. And that really would only apply to someone who has all the basics mastered. Like if you're spot on with your calories and your nutrients and you're consistent with your training and your sleep and your lifestyle and you have everything in place, then if you want to kind of like take it to the next level, we can start manipulating meal timing strategies. But for like 95% of the people out there who are trying to build muscle and lose fat, meal timing, it's way too advanced, right? You need to focus on the basics first. And most people don't have the basics mastered, so meal timing is not that big a deal. What else have we got here? Let's see. Steve is saying, what's the best supplement for recovery? Food and rest. Literally, supplements are kind of overrated. I'm not a big supplement junkie. I mean, yes, I take supplements, but it's just basically to help fill in the gaps from my nutrition. So like I take like vitamins and I take protein powder and I'll take like a greens powder, especially if I'm not getting enough protein or veggies in my diet. Like vitamin D and magnesium and zinc and things like that, just to make sure I'm covering all my bases. But as far as like recovery, just rest and food, you don't need a supplement for that. Like I don't have a post-workout shake or anything like that. After I finish my workout, I come home and I eat my next solid food meal. That's what's going to help with recovery. Adequate rest and adequate nutrition in the form of solid food. Let's see what else we've got. A lot of people saying hello to Harvey. I mean, yeah. Who is your favorite competitor for the Arnold Classic? Honestly, I haven't been following along with competitive bodybuilding much lately. I don't really know. I'm not going to the Arnold this year, and I haven't been following along, so I'm out of the loop. Well, Steve is saying he's got a 14-year-old son. Young Mullins saying, how much protein should you take a day? I'm 6'4", 190, trying to get buff. Start with 190 grams of protein. That's a good baseline to start with. Like if you're, it's so simple. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight per day is like a good place to start. Now, is it the end all be all? No, I mean, but it's a good starting point. It'll put you in the ballpark, and then you can always manipulate it up or down based on how your body is responding. If your goal is to gain size, then you'll probably want to eat more, just increase the calories in general. If your goal is to lose body fat, then you'll be wanting to eat less. But again, the 1 gram per pound rule is a good place to start for most people. What else we got? Winged Tashi 1234. Winged Tashi. Okay. How long should I follow your beginner's workout before I plateau? I don't know. You'll have to follow the workout and you'll have to plateau before I know. Like it's going to vary for everybody. Some people will probably be able to follow it for 3 or 4 months before they hit a plateau. Some people might follow it for 1 or 2 months before they plateau. It really depends. And it also depends on your own consistency. Like if you're one of these guys who is like on and off with your workouts, then you need to master the consistency habit first. But if you are spot on with your consistency, like you're going to the gym 3 days a week, never missing a workout, spot on with your nutrition, your sleep and rest and lifestyle habits are like clockwork. Like you go to bed at the same time every night, you wake up at the same time, you're never missing a meal, like everything is boom, 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 spot on, then obviously you're going to make better progress than someone who's sporadic and one night you're up to the wee hours of the morning, next night you're not and sleeping in or whatever. I mean, if you're eating and lifestyle are all out of whack, then that's going to affect your progress. But if so, it's not just a one thing. It's not like, okay, how long can I follow the exercise routine and make progress? You need to look at the bigger picture. It's diet, lifestyle, and the exercise. And all those things matter. But again, there's no set answer for that. You just basically follow the program until your progress starts to slow down. And when you do hit a plateau, before you go manipulating the workouts and saying, oh, I need to change up everything, look at all those other variables first. Like if your diet is all over the place and you're basically just eating whatever you want, whenever you want, then focus on that. Like focus on the weak links, right? If you're consistent with the workout but not consistent with the diet, well, fix the diet, right? Get that fixed. If you're eating good and you're working out good, but your sleep habits are all messed up, you're only getting like 4 or 5 hours of sleep a night, well, start sleeping more, right? However, you got to work that into your schedule. Like, fix all those elements first. And then once you have all the bases covered, then you can start looking into more advanced training strategies. But don't go trying to make things more advanced when you haven't got the basics mastered first. Let's see what else. Glenn is joining, and he says, I just rejoined the channel after being away for a while. I enjoy all the feedback you give us. Thanks, Glenn. I appreciate the comment, and welcome back. Glad to have you tuning in again. Chris is saying, looking good, buddy. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. Baby Boomer Fitness. What's your favorite machine? The elliptical, the treadmill, or the bike? All three, really. I like varying my cardio if I'm doing cardio at the gym. My favorite cardio is getting outdoors, right? If my ultimate favorite cardio is mountain bike riding outdoors. That's what I love to do more than anything because it's fun, getting the fresh air, the variety, because you can ride different trails and stuff. I just love bike riding outdoors. That is my all-time favorite. Like when I'm outside on the bike, like time just flies. Like an hour of cardio is nothing. Like 2 hours of cardio is nothing. Like I can just do cardio because I love it so much. It's fun. It's exciting. But doing cardio at the gym, you're staring at the TV monitor, you're staring at the clock on the machine, and it drags on and on and on. But if I get outside, cardio is just like time flies. I love it. But with that being said, if I am doing cardio in the gym, I usually mix it up. So I'll probably do, like, let's just throw out some numbers. If I was going to do 30 minutes of cardio, I'd probably do 10 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the stepper, 10 minutes on the elliptical, or something like that. It really depends on what they have available. Like I like using the spin bike at the gym as well. The elliptical machines, especially the ones with the moving handles. I like the rowing machine. I like the Stairmaster. Like I'll change it up. I really don't have a particular preference. Just as long as I get my heart rate elevated, I get a sweat worked up, I mean, it's all good. But I do like to change it up because it breaks up the monotony of it. Like if I had to do, like let's just say I was going to do an hour of cardio, I wouldn't want to do an hour on one machine. I'd rather do maybe do 4 different machines for 15 minutes. That would be a lot more enjoyable and less repetitive stress on the joints than if you did one machine for an hour. John Doe is saying, how heavy should I work an injured muscle or tendon? At light. light. Like if I'll give you an example. Back in November when I injured my tricep lat tie-in area, so it was right down the long head of the tricep as it comes into the lat. That's where I actually tore that muscle. Now granted, it's healed up pretty good now, but when I went back to the gym, I was literally using the empty handles of the machines. So like we have some hammer strength machines at the gym. I was going through the motions with no weight on the machine, just the empty handle alone, just doing high repetitions, going through the movement. Once that felt good, then I put a 2.5 pound plate on the hammer strength, go through the motions, right? Once that felt good, and guess what? I went up to a whopping 5 pound plate, go through the motions, right? So I mean, like people at the gym, like who didn't know me, they were like, what the heck is this guy? Like he's lifting 2 pound plates on the machine, right? Like the old ladies, like Like Granny will come over and use maybe 25-pound plates, and here I am taking off her 25-pound plates and putting a 2.5 on, and I'm doing my exercises with a 2.5. Like, start off light. When you are injured, your goal is just movement, blood flow, and just going through the motions. And you just do that. And as you feel comfortable, gradually increase the weight. And you'll know, like, listen to your body. Like, as you're going up in weight, if you're going through it and it feels really good, there's no aches, pains, or discomfort, then just like increase 2.5 pounds, right? Go up a little bit. And then eventually you'll probably get to the point where, oh, I start to feel that injury, where I tore it or tweaked it or whatever you did for your injury. If it starts to twinge a little bit and you feel that, oh, there's you're getting that warning sign, that's your limit. Stop, right? Don't go any heavier. Don't push yourself anymore. And in fact, once you get to that point, you're done, right? You shouldn't be training beyond that. So work within your pain threshold and just slowly, day by day, week by week, build it up. And it can be a tedious process, right? I mean, like in my case, I had my injury back in November. Here we are, February. I'm still not 100%, but I'm able to get in a decent workout and still train around it. But it's going to take some time. It's not something like, you pull a muscle or tear a muscle and like 2 weeks later you're back. No, it's probably going to take longer if it's a serious injury. The worst part about injuries is in that recovery phase. That's when you can take a minor injury and actually turn it into a major injury, because guys try and do too much too soon. So you have a minor pull or a minor strain, and then you try and get back into lifting heavy too soon, and then you overstress that area that's already pre-injured, if you will, and now you end up having a full-blown muscle tear or tendon tear, and you make it even worse. So that's the danger zone, is when you're in that recovery phase, right? That's when you need to be extra careful. We have Charles joining in. He says, Lee, I really enjoy the live feeds. I'm from Australia. I'm 44. Been lifting for a while. I do 4 sets of 10, 2 sets, and I do 4 sets of 10/1 to 2 sets with a steady weight. The last 2 will be heavier. Is this good? Yeah, so basically, if you're doing 4 sets, your first set should be very easy, right? Easy. No rep into failure. You should not struggle whatsoever. The next set should be a bit heavier, right? And again, you shouldn't be struggling with it, but it should be heavier. For the third set, you should have to work a bit to complete your repetitions, but you should be able to do it fine. And then on the fourth set, that's when you can kind of push yourself a bit. That's when you can kind of struggle a bit with the weight, and if you fall short of your 10 reps, then that's fine. But I always start off light. Start off with a warm-up, and then increase the weight gradually, set by set. Never try and do too much for those early sets. You always want to warm up and then increase the weight gradually, set by set. Let's see what else we got. What are some good substitutions for lat pull downs? That's from First Revenge. It really depends what you have available and your fitness level. If you're strong enough, pull-ups are great. But the problem with pull-ups is you have to be strong enough to lift your entire body weight. And not everybody is. Pull-ups are a very advanced exercise, right? I know a lot of guys can't do proper pull-ups. So that would be a great substitute. But if you're not strong enough to do them, then obviously you can't. But you can do other variations. Again, it depends on your situation. If you're training in a limited gym and you don't have access to machines or cables and things like that, you're kind of limited. But one that I would recommend if you're in a jam is rubber resistance bands. You can do a lot of exercises with rubber resistance bands that duplicate machine exercises in the gym. So like even here while we're on vacation, I pack rubber resistance bands in my suitcase. So if I can't get to the gym, I can still work out with body weight and rubber band exercises anywhere and make do. So I'm not stuck, right? You can get a great workout with rubber bands. The ones that I recommend that I found to be the best are Bodylastic bands. You can just go to bodylasticbands.com. And what I like about those is they're adjustable tension, meaning you can stack different bands onto the handle. So you can have like a really light one, or you can have medium resistance or real heavy resistance. So you can stack the bands and make the exercise as easy or as hard as you like. And I find that is really good for different exercises, because certain moves, obviously you want light resistance, certain moves you're going to need heavy resistance, just the same as if you're in the gym. And when you have the adjustable bands, you can make those exercises accommodate for your own strength levels. And of course, you can even do light warm-up sets and progressively heavier sets and all that. But that would be a great alternative. Just set up some bands somehow, like have them set up in an overhead position, and you can do pull downs with the bands. If you were in a jam, like you could even set it up like on the floor and do like just lie down on the floor and do your pull downs that way as well. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be vertical up and down. Like you can lie yourself on the floor and set up the bands so that they're coming in. It's still a vertical resistance in terms of your body position, but you can play around with it depending on your setup. What else we got, guys? Let's see. Abram's asking, is only body weight exercises... Sorry, just a second. A message popped up there on my phone. I'll close it out. Got a text message come through while I'm trying to read the chat window. Is only body weight workouts a waste of time? No, I mean, you can do body weight workouts and get a great workout. I'm a huge fan of body weight. It's certainly not a waste of time. The only problem with body weight is you're kind of limited to what you can do. And of course, you have to be strong enough to lift your entire body weight. So for beginners, that can be a challenge because like if you're not strong enough to do a pull-up, then obviously you can't do pull-ups. If you're not strong enough to do a push-up, you can't do push-ups. So I mean, that's where it can be a bit of a challenge. That's why I like to use machine exercises where you can adjust the resistance based on your own strength. But if you can do body weight exercises, they're very, very beneficial. The cool thing about body weight is whenever you move your entire body doing an exercise, there's a higher level of neuromuscular activation. That's why squats are more effective than leg press, because you're moving your entire body weight. It's basically a body weight exercise with added resistance. That's what a squat is. Whereas a leg press, you're only moving your limbs, you're only moving your legs. So even if you train to failure with a leg press or you train to failure with a squat, you will feel more muscle fatigue and it will be more challenging to train to failure with the squat than it would be the leg press. Same with like pull-ups and pull downs. The pull-up is harder because you're moving your entire body. There's a higher level of neuromuscular activation. So that's more advanced stuff, right? I mean, but again, just to answer your question, no, body weight exercises are not a waste of time. They're very productive. Okay, we have Peggy Boots, or Pogy Boots. Pogy Boots. Those biceps looking flush. Must be all that snow shoveling. Not near as much here in PEI. Nice work, those. Staying right after it. Thanks for thanks for joining. Thanks for the comment. Gotta love Pogy Boots. There. Where did, man, like, I always get a kick out of the usernames, right? Like, I've been so boring. Like, every time I've signed up for an account on anything, from YouTube to the different social medias to back in the forum days before social media, I always use my own name. Like, I've never ever made up a username. But again, it's always interesting to see these names. Like this one, Winged Tashi 1234. Should you eat after you work out or before? Should work out in morning or afternoon? It doesn't matter. Like whatever works the best for you, your schedule. Like you can make gains any which way. What matters the most is the consistency. Like, are you working out? Like regardless if it's morning, noon, or night, like just work out. That's step one. Now, step two, when does it fit your schedule the best? When are you going to be consistent? Like, if you're a morning person, then hey, work out in the morning. If you're a night owl, then hey, work out in the night. If you have an hour on your lunch break, then work out on your lunch break. Like, it doesn't matter as long as you do it consistently. As far as eating before or after workout, again, it really doesn't matter. Like, we kind of touched on this in a previous question. Meal timing is not as important as what you eat and how much you eat. That's the most important thing. The when you eat, like once you get the right foods and the right amounts, then we can worry about the variables of, okay, when do you eat it? Personally, I don't like to eat a big meal before I work out. I like to eat more after my workout. So if you're asking before or after, I would generally say after. But again, it all depends on the individual and their situation because we all have our own preferences, our own work schedule, lifestyle. It's not like one size fits all cookie cutter approach. Like we all have our own individual situation. That's why you can't really take generic advice and apply it to everybody, right? And so if you want some help with this, like, hey, send me an email. We can chat about it and, we can discuss a realistic action plan that works for you, your situation, your schedule, your food likes, dislikes, your fitness goals, all that kind of stuff. Again, my email, leeh@leehayward.com. I'll have a link to it, or have it written out in the video description below when I post the replay of this. Send me an email and we can chat. Aaron saying, looking forward to the video on nighttime eating. Yeah, that's something that I'm going to be doing very soon. I'm going to be putting together a video covering how to control those late night cravings. Because what I found with a lot of my coaching students and a lot of people that I'm just chatting to in general, most guys can get through the day okay, right? You can keep your diet under control all day long because you're busy with work, you're busy with stuff, and you're not thinking about food. But then in the nighttime, when you settle down and you unwind, in those few hours before you go to bed, that's when the shit can hit the fan, right? That's when you can undo a great day of eating in those few hours before you go to bed. That's when the cravings tend to kick in, and then you're sitting around and you're like, probably don't have as much to do because your day of work is done and everything else, and you're just like sitting around, maybe watching YouTube videos or watching Netflix, or you're on the computer, or you're just chilling on the couch, whatever, and the munchies hit and the cravings hit, and then you're like, what do I eat? What do I eat? And I've seen it so many times. Like, people might eat clean, like chicken and salad, and eating baked potatoes and steak and all these good healthy foods all day long, and then in the nighttime they find themselves halfway through a tub of Haagen-Dazs. Right? You can undo a perfect day of eating in those few hours before you go to bed. So you need to have some strategies of how to deal with that. And simply trying to avoid eating is probably not the best way, because that relies on willpower, and eventually willpower is going to run out. Like, if you have cravings, you have to have a strategy to deal with those cravings. You have to have some food options available that you can enjoy that are going to help. And that's something that I'm going to be doing very soon. I'm going to be putting together a nighttime eating strategy video, because this is something I struggle with myself. And I'm going to share basically what I do, how I deal with my nighttime food cravings in order to burn fat, and more importantly, how to keep it off. I was actually having this conversation with a friend of mine just recently, and we were talking about the whole fat loss issue, like the situation. Everybody's wondering, like, what's the fastest way to lose fat? Like, should I go keto? Should I do this? Should I do that diet? Whatever. And I'm like, you need to figure out how to stop getting fat in the first place. That's step number one. Like, who cares how fast you can lose it if you don't have a plan to stop getting fat? I mean, that's the issue most people have, is they don't know how to stop getting fat. Because if you go back to your old habits, like once you stop the diet and you go back to eating normal, people get fat because they haven't mastered how to eat a healthy nutrition program that allows them to stay lean and stay satiated and be healthy, right? We're always on this all or nothing. Like, I'm either on this extreme low calorie cutting diet, or I'm eating whatever the heck I want. There's no in between. And you have to master that in between if you truly want to be successful with this. So step one to fat loss, figure out how to stop getting fat. Once you have that in place, then you can worry about, okay, how do I lose the fat that I'm already carrying? Because most people, they haven't got that figured out. They're still getting fatter. And then they're wondering, okay, well, should I go keto? Should I go this? Should I go that? I'm like, no, just stop getting fat. That's step one. All right, what else? We're actually over the hour now, so I'm going to get ready and clue this one up, guys. What other questions? I'm going to just scroll through real quick and see what other questions are coming through. I want to start lifting weights, but I'm worried because I dislocated my right shoulder 11 years ago. What do you recommend? Start off light, take it easy. You should be able to, a shoulder injury 11 years ago should not be too much of a concern now, especially if you just start off light and lift within your means. What do you recommend for cardio and working out 5-6 days a week? Low intensity cardio. I personally am a big fan of low intensity cardio. Save the high intensity for the weight training, low intensity for the cardio. Good up. That's what I refer to as my yin and yang training, right? Alternating high intensity and low intensity. Steve is saying, should I take creatine every day or just when I train? Take it every day. Steve is saying, do you train to music, and what do you listen to? I actually listen to audiobooks and podcasts when I train. I know it's kind of boring, but that's a good time for me to catch up on audiobooks and podcasts. I usually don't listen to music when I work out. Hoagie Boots is saying, I mistrust supplement companies to the point I avoid them now. I have a suspicion that a lot of them use fillers and don't live up to their claims. Do you think this is unreasonable? Hey, buddy. You okay? Oh, is that right? Okay. Harvey's. Are you telling Daddy that it's time to clue it up? We got supper on the table? Does Mommy have supper on the table? He's not telling me if I got supper on the table. I can smell it. Mommy's cooking supper, so soon time for supper. Anyway, back to Pogie Boots' question about supplement companies. Like, I mean, sure, there's probably some supplement companies out there that are not truth to their labels or whatever, but I mean, most of them are. Like, most of the top brand supplement companies out there are within reason. I mean, they might not be 100% accurate to the label claim, but most of them are. And I mean, I personally use supplements, and especially the name brand. If you're using some unknown brand that you've seen on the internet, then yeah, you might be a bit shady. But in North America, most reputable brand name supplements are good to go. I know, like, in other parts of the world, like, supplements are often faked. Like, you can get knockoff versions. Like, you rarely ever see it in North America, but I've talked to people in places like India or in China and stuff like that, and there's actually knockoff, like, people making fake versions of protein powder and stuff like that. So I mean, there's like real shady shit going on. Like, you don't know what you're getting. But in North America anyway, which is the only place that I have any experience with buying supplements, most of the companies are legit. What else we got? I'm just scrolling through any questions. Someone says they have intense gummy bear cravings at night and they love sugar. All right, thanks for sharing that. I'll share some strategies on how to deal with your sugar cravings in my upcoming late night craving video. How do I get a super defined face like a bodybuilder? How do you get that chiseled jaw look? You lose fat everywhere. When you lose body fat, you're going to lose it from all over, including the face, and that's one of the telltale signs. Like, back in the days when I used to be competing at bodybuilding shows and stuff, like, everybody be wearing their, like a tracksuit or, a hoodie and sweatshirt or something like that. And how you would tell, like, everybody's like kind of sizing up the competition, see who's in shape and who's not in shape. You'd tell, like, who had the sunk in face, like whose face was really lean. And if you seen someone come in and like their face was really lean, you could see like the details in their jawline and stuff. You're like, okay, that guy's shredded. Right? Because when you lose fat, you lose it from all over, including the face. So if you got a pudgy face, it's probably because you're pudgy all over. So if you just lose fat in general, you'll also lose it in the face. Surprisingly, I've had a lot of questions about that, like, how do you lose face fat? I even made a video about it years ago. If you do a search for Lee Hayward face fat, you'll probably find it. It's an old video, like 10 years ago I made it. Anyway, guys, I'm going to clue it up now because, like, Mama Bear's got supper on the table and Harvey's here. Hey, how are you doing, buddy?
How are you?
Do you want to sign off for me? Can you tell everybody in the internet world to have a good day and sign off?
Have a good day.
Say, tell them to subscribe to the Lee Hayward's Total Fitness Bodybuilding. Can you say subscribe to the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel.
And subscribe to Pleasant Harvey.
Subscribe to Harvey.
And subscribe to Pleasant Harvey.
Okay, subscribe to Harvey, guys. Oh, we got a nasty cough there. All right, guys. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video chats, and I'll be talking to you in a future video coming soon. Like I said, I've got some new workout footage in the works. My editor is actually putting it together over the weekend. So next week you should look forward to that. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or you need some help with your training, your nutrition, and you would like to strategize and brainstorm some ideas, send me an email. My email address is leeh@leehayward.com. If you have any questions you'd like to discuss an action plan that's right for you, drop me an email. We can just brainstorm some ideas and see if we can come up with an action plan. In the meantime, have yourself a great weekend, and I'll be talking to you in my next video. Take care, over and out.